Welcome back to Forgotten Sands HD. So, it's time to progress and see if the prince can manage to meet his brother and to fix it with the amulet thingy.
Meanwhile, I gotta say though, this little bit here for some reason reminded me of the American plot of Mario 1, where everything he shatters is actually a person turned into something.
You
No,
know,
thankfully the sand statues cannot be broken. It's only the pots that can be broken.
I'll admit it.
Or the barrels. Sorry.
I do like that. I do like that slight touch where after you've not used your weapon for long enough, he'll sheath it in the back there. That's actually a little nice touch there.
Well, it's tied to games that were similar to this one, similar to, like, say, some hack and slashes. In the previous game, there was basically a sheath-unsheath button in order to differentiate the combat mode and the more athletic one. Anyway, basically this introduces the next couple of puzzles that you will have to do. Basically unlock gears and moving rotation accordingly.
The heck was that person doing there before he got turned into stone?
He was trying to jumping off, I guess.
I guess.
Wee.
Alley-oop.
That's also another thing, if you notice, like I mentioned, due to the game wanting to be more of a spectacle and everything, some of the traps have been made a little bit easier. Like, for example, those spikes before, I could just walk over those. But I don't think overall it's too bad. I think it may be a good, there may be a good balance, compared to the previous games who, in some points, there may have been a bit too hard. If the game had built from this and then moved on, in a more progressive kind of, more in a progression kind of way, maybe could have been even better. But instead, most of the traps feel basically on the same line of difficulty curve. Anyway, let's move on. There we go. Once again, ancient civilization with super impressive technology for its time. Anyway, the icon that you see on the left is a function basically as your timer for time the puzzles like this one. But the game is very generous in that regard, so like in this case I have plenty enough of time to do this.
I suppose I'll give the civilizations credit in this regard that they probably didn't expect somebody as acrobatic as the prince. So it's not like they intentionally made it so people could get through.
There's a large group of sand soldiers on the way. I can slow them down, but I need you to close the gate.
Which means a more complicated puzzle than the ones that we just faced.
I think the levers behind you lock the mechanism. If you unlock it, that should let you raise the bridge.
But
they've broken through. Get this working as quickly as you can.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Wouldn't raising the bridge end up letting the dead in, though?
Actually, no, it's the contrary. It's trapping them inside. Anyway, it may take a bit long, so let's speed up.
It's probably one of those bridges that raises from the ground. Ah, Spectre Knight's campaign.
I preferred this one over the original for King Knight's level.
I see what you mean.
There we go.
So basically, Sonic Unleashed ripped off this puzzle. Okay.
There was a
puzzle in Night
Missouri
that was very similar.
Pedro, Sonic Unleashed came out 2 years before this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was so
confused. Sonic Unleashed. Then.
Exactly. That's why I was so confused about what Pedro said.
Actually, it's important.
How are you doing with the gates?
Basically, Malik, we established that Malik is actually enjoying the fact that he's getting more power by killing the enemies.
I'll slow them down.
Oh, let me guess. The army's not really here, he's just faking it.
No, don't worry. This is not Spec Ops The Line lives.
He definitely seems to be a lot more confident, despite the fact that, you know, his army's been reduced to stone.
That's because, remember, he has part of the amulet, which means it actually is giving him more power. So,
how interesting.
We're almost there. Just one more.
They've broken through! Have you closed the gate? As far as it will go! It'll have to do. Come on! Malik!
Shit.
Not to worry, my bad fighting skills will save the day.
Oh shit. And oops, we just
come
opened the game, we closed.
Not that doesn't matter, they got hit anyway.
Well, we did close it still, just not the way we thought it would.
Alright. Who wants first
Oh,
pickings? Ow! Okay, God, time out, guys, time out!
Again, the tornado really helps you.
Yeah.
I'll
give them credit. They definitely don't do this. They definitely don't do the one-on-one bit here. It's like they all are going to get.
There's another thing. You can actually execute enemies that are on the ground with one more hit. It's actually helpful with enemies that have that can be a bit spongy, like the armor one.
It's like in Sonic Heroes where he does the tornado spin.
Oh, hold on. Here we go.
We need to reunite the medallion. Wait there until I find a way up.
What's your hurry? The army is trapped. I can kill them one by one.
True.
Their power.
Do you hear yourself? This army sucked the life from your people, and you won't stop it because it makes you feel strong. We can end this now. Throw me the medallion.
No.
Throw me your half. If you can.
Okay, I think I see where this is going.
Yeah. However, yeah, if you don't remember, the prince said that he hasn't seen his brother in a long time, and so yeah.
So his brother.
This can only go so well.
So his brother knowingly put his people in danger just for power. It's almost
actually, no. In this case, he was genuine in asking to throw in the value. The reason why he left is because, well, in a sense, that's what he thought. In a sense, that he thinks that the prince doesn't trust him, and second, he thinks that the prince also wants power for himself.
Yeah, even still. So you're telling me that he didn't know this would happen because, well, then again, I get that he wanted power.
No, remember, he thought that the army would have been in his complete control.
The people that made this temple have more of a spike enjoyment than dibs.
Anyway, let's see if Razia can give us some advice, I guess.
Maybe ask her, hey, how can I keep my brother from becoming a tyrant and warlord who's corrupted by power?
He would not have reunited the halves. I'm certain of it.
You are so trustworthy, Princey.
He talked of leaving his own soldiers to die, as if it meant nothing.
Let me guess, he's being possessed.
No.
Okay, he's just greedy.
We already did that, Jova. In the second game of the original trilogy.
But that would stop them from going again. But never mind, I see your point.
Collecting their energy in the medallion, he must have fallen under the army's sway. The power we added to your seal must have shielded you from it.
Why didn't you warn me this might
So apparently this thing does make you power hungry. So in a way he kind of is getting possessed.
If I get the seal
not by a human spirit, but by greed itself.
Greed is good.
In any case, the longer we wait, the stronger.
So yeah, we must act quickly.
You must find your brother again. This time,
God forbid it involve a fight to the death.
You must take it by force.
He's being controlled. I won't harm him.
So you're not trusting him, but you're not willing to fight him.
If he is beyond helping his people now.
Yeah, that's definitely the characterization for the prince transitioning into warrior within.
Yeah, here's part of the problem. We know that he's not going to take his place because we've seen the games that come after this. Kind of the issue with this being a prequel.
I still have to play Battles from Prince of Persia, which, according to Commander General, Comrade General, supposedly tells the missing gap in how the prince becomes super angsty. in War Within, so I'm curious to see how the transition is completed in that game.
That should be interesting. Well, time to go.
Yeah, but first, let's see what this painting is like. There's no real reason for he's there, just for have a few more pots to break. No, I was just checking the mirror. Yeah. Again, just checking if everything was right, but yeah, I actually do.
Wouldn't it be funny if he dies in the very realm that he just comes to for advice?
Thankfully, no.
It's like, Razia, I've come to talk. Ah!
Maybe you should have built better. Anyway, thankfully we're not empty-handed for this because we have gained a new power.
She certainly doesn't encourage visitors.
Basically, every time we see a stream of water like that or a fall, we can froze it. It's not turning it into ice, it's literally freezing time for the water. It's basically transforming it into a solid object.
Hey, it's almost like that Good Times Sleeping Beauty story, which has the fire being magically frozen.
Wait, what?
You don't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I remember that. True.
The solid, frozen magical fire.
It's interesting because, again, it's not ice, but it's still a solid state. And it's not like a time stopper for everything, because the primitive moves accordingly, and also the times around things. Thankfully, we will not get sequences where you can be damaged while you're on these things, but still, interesting choice of how to represent the time stopping for the water. You also have a meter tied to it, but again, I maxed it out, so it's not really a big of a deal. Alright, here we go.
Don't leave me here to die. Please, just let me out.
Oh.
Please.
What's that? Oh, a
Hello.
prisoner.
Oh.
Mercy.
No.
Have mercy on me.
I wonder where he were.
Stay away.
Well, he died.
Did the guards abandon the prisoners? No one should be left to die like that.
There we go. There you go, that's what's happening, Jonah. They've been turned prisoners to sand, Jesus. Alright, it's almost there.
Come here often.
And Malik. There you go. Basically, the enemies with the shield should be technically bypassed in some way, or you can just use a tornado.
Yeah.
Oh.
A dog can... That's not it, is it?
No, sorry, it leaves.
Is there a move in Street Fighter that allows you...
Yes, actually. One of Cody's supers, it's called a Mach 5, I think it's called. Because it represents the maximum intensity of a tornado. Anyway, basically it was just there to show you that you're getting more powerful enemy types. There you go.
And his hands froze.
Thankfully no, Dweebs. Like I said, we're not operating on the logic that it's ice, so it's... Oops.
Oops.
My bad.
It's okay, rewind.
I guess it's also one of good things on why you have the time freezing powers. There we go. Again, there is the developers certainly did play the previous games, because there are some set pieces and everything that are similar to previous games. Like in this sense, you're jumping all around the room, ascending on a vertical level. That's a thing that happened also in the previous trilogy, so there's definitely thought into that. The thing is that in order to make it more of a spectacle than anything, sometimes things tend to become a bit too easier on the part. And like I said, for example, the sequences here with the where the prince is just climbing on these couple of things is instead more scripted rather than being you climbing up a piece of wall that is climbable. You know, instead he's following a small predetermined path. What I like instead, like I briefly mentioned, is the ability of running a bit on a surface once you land on it. So instead of having just rely on the jump, you can potentially basically just jump on a surface, then climb it a bit on, and then move on, and then move on climb. That actually is more saving than anything. Also, yeah, movable, oh geez, cages.
I wonder how well attached these
Yeah.
are. Probably better not to think about it.
You're gonna have to vault off those, aren't you?
No, like, we're just, technically yes, but we're just grabbing onto them.
It's just, I love how the prince says, probably best not to try and figure out. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out.
So you say this game was made on an Assassin's Creed engine?
The second game, to be precise, yes.
It definitely feels like that. Uh-oh.
I'd better move quickly.
Oh shit! Again, it also helped with the team dweebs in a sense that they didn't need to have a new engine specifically created for it, because technically there wasn't one to be used for Prince of Persia. It's similar to how Capcom is using right now the Resident Evil 7
the RE engine.
Yeah, the RE engine for its other projects like Devil May Cry 5.
And the Resi 2 remake.
Yeah, the RE engine used for all the future Resident Evil games makes sense. I mean, staple and everything. Yeah. But honestly, I think it did work for Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, I gotta say though, from what I've observed now, I think I think here in the UK at least, Capcom's most popular IP seems to be Resident Evil.
I guess it makes sense.
Because everywhere I go on like forums and that, even people I've talked to in and around here, they rarely talk about any Capcom IP that isn't Resi.
I mean, we know that Mega Man is more popular in the US by default to dweebs. That's pretty much a fact. The only real Mega Man game that took over here was Battle Network, and I speak only for my country. I don't know, it's the rest of Europe.
Well, we got the Battle Network anime, NT Warrior.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, also in terms of the games, since it was around, also the GBA era was also with Pokemon Gen 3, so everyone had the craze for it.
Over here, it's actually Devil May Cry that's the most popular.
Mm-hmm.
And in America, when it comes to Capcom, smorgasbord.
When it comes to Capcom, is a bit varied. There is a portion of dedicated fighting gamers here. So the usual stuff: Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Rebel Schools, and a bunch are known.
Yeah, I've actually wondered. 2 years ago, 3 and 2 years ago, they released the Mega Man Legacy Collection. Last year they did the same thing for the X series. If they're going on year, what are they going to do this year?
Legends, maybe.
Well, Battle Network.
I mean, that's the problem.
Battle Network has reached its conclusive finale with Battle Network.
Well, no.
They'll just release it for compilation.
The thing is that compared to the previous games, Battle Networks are based around Game Boy Advance games, unfortunately, which means that the overall quality and output will be, even on a widescreen, will be not that pleasant to look at. Basically, the idea is that the games would be better just to be remade from the ground up instead of just be ported on modern system.
Only Battle Network 5 ever got a DS upgrade.
But Tio, here's the unfortunate thing though. Other times Capcom have tried to remake Mega Man, they never got past the first game.
No, I know that with the PSP versions of 1 and X1. But the thing is that, unfortunately, when it comes to Battle Network, it is kind of like that. As for the DS games, it's similar to a problem that Konami may have with the Castlevania games. Games made on the DS were specifically made with the idea of the touchpad gimmick in mind, meaning that on modern system, unless you have some way to implement that in an effective way, mind you, like on PC, yes, you can use the cursor and everything, and on the Switch you can use the tablet mode, for example.
Wasn't that the mode on you?
True, but that's only for the... Well, keep in mind, for example, give an example. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia has you drawing symbols on the touchpad of the Nintendo DS, meaning that you kind of have to replicate that. But for to give you an example, the first Inokuni also had that on the DS, but when it came to the PS3 version, they had to drop that mechanic entirely and just have Oliver cast the spell automatically.
Well, you got the touchpad on PS4.
Which breaks easily.
True.
That as well, Waves.
Maybe they can remaster the DS version onto the Switch.
Probably. Anyway, in regards to remaking Mega Man stuff, Dribs, that's kind of because Capcom never seems to learn to market those properly. That, and while sometimes the first one does work, then for unknown reasons they decide to abandon it, though that could just as easily not be an issue. However, even if we were talking remakes there, I do have to wonder how they'd even go about remaking Battle Network, like...
Well,
I mean, it shouldn't be too hard, honestly, Jova. Just to make it more... less jaggedy with the sprites, you know, and everything is basically the same. The gameplay of Battle Network has been solid consistently to the point there are still competitive multiplayer tournaments to this day. The community is that strong. So
plus, from what I understand, a couple of the games' stories are a bit dodgy.
I haven't checked myself, but from what I remember, the Anti-Warrior anime follows most of the games to a T, and I honestly
yes and no.
I mean, and for the anime, I really like the Pharaoh Man entire story arc. So if it's like that in the game, also sewer level.
From what I understand, there were a few different characters got more screen time compared to the ones in the game. They all got to do more stuff than just be the healer.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, well, that's the weirdest thing about the Battle Network continuity. They're a Mega Man or a Knight.
Sure, why not?
If you're used to the classic series.
That's because in the classic series they look more like children, while Battle Networkers were in a more teen form.
Theo, maybe it's also more so the fact that in the classic series they're siblings.
I didn't remember that.
Basically, here's the thing though, Dweebs. In Legends and Battle Network, yes, they're an item. In fact, believe it or not, in Star Force, they even go as far to say that Lan and, of course, his obvious future wife, Meilu, who's Roll's operator, apparently what Lan did was he combined the data from both the Navis of Mega Man and Roll to essentially make a net Navi baby, Mega Man Jr.
Yeah, the Battle Network continuity is kind of fucked up when you think about it.
I mean, apparently Navis can reproduce that way. That's by no means are the Battle Network games bad games.
Anyway, as you may have seen from... as you may have seen, the next what awaits us is, you guessed it, a sewer level. So, see you for the next part, I guess.
That's all for now.